Okay, Matty P, season 2, episode 7.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with how I want to sound right now because I'm still not over the Leafs. Definitely not.
No.
But I'm also excited to be doing this episode.
I am. It actually has. It's felt like it's been a little while because we recorded the last Monday, so it's been like 8 days. It's good to be back. I do love these chats. Unfortunately, today there's just going to be some topics that
it's going to be negative.
We were really hoping we weren't going to have to discuss for another few weeks minimum. But
Yep.
Unfortunately, we're discussing them around the same time we have the last 5 years. So
Yep, and we're gonna be taking some calls very shortly on in the show here. But I guess one positive, Matt, is we're doing the show from Malaysia.
Malaysia, yeah, it's we had to use some illegal streams to get the NHL going from Malaysia to watch the Leafs there.
Yeah, and the time change was all messed up, but I don't know.
It's been a good week though.
We drowned our sorrows in Malaysian beer after.
Yeah.
Forget the kind. But somebody that might know a kind, we're going to call him right now. Our boy, field reporter Josh. He's back for week 2. Sound all good, Kenny? Oh yeah, Kenny's in the house, by the way.
Yeah, welcome back, Kenny.
Yeah,
welcome back.
Let's go Tampa.
Yeah. Field reporter Josh, are you on?
I'm on. How's it going, guys?
Good to talk to you. Second week in a row. Thanks for doing this.
No problem. Have we landed in Malaysia, correct?
Yeah, we're in Malaysia.
Yeah, we've had a great week.
It was a great week, but we had to watch the game on Saturday night from Malaysia, and I was just saying that Matt and I, you weren't with us for this part, but you did travel with us, field reporter Josh. But we drowned our sorrows in Malaysian beer, but we forgot the name of the beer. Do you happen to know?
A Malaysian beer?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. You're putting me on the spot. Now you guys got me.
Well, we don't know either.
No, I don't know what the Malaysian beer is.
Okay, well...
It was the no-name stuff.
Yeah, no-name. It was real cheap.
Yeah.
Buck of beer, I think they had it on sale. It was a beer and a taco for $2.
Like, I know, like, the Singapore beer, which it borders Malaysia, is a Tiger. You guys have probably actually heard of that
I
beer.
do think we had a Tiger this week.
Yeah, we had a couple Tigers.
Yeah, so those are from Singapore, which borders Malaysia. So maybe that's what you were drinking.
Okay. You told us last week Malaysia is one of the 40-something countries you've been to, which is just an insane stat to say. But we do have a few more days before we figure out our next location. So, being a guy that has been to Malaysia, what do you suggest we do?
Yeah, when I actually was in Southeast Asia, I was in Malaysia multiple times. So I was there for about a month total, probably, with my various stops. So I'm assuming you guys are in the capital, Kuala Lumpur, right now.
Mm-hmm.
Great capital city, great nightlife, great food. The food in Malaysia, it's
unreal.
It's actually, it's unreal. If you like spice, because it's
spice, yes.
It's actually it's heavily influenced by like the bordering countries and especially like India as well. So there's a lot of good curries there.
Okay.
So definitely take have some of the food.
Mm-hmm.
And then I mentioned Singapore is actually, if you guys, when you get a chance to look at the map, Singapore is pretty much, it borders Malaysia, and some actually think it's part of the same country, but it's a separate country. But I would definitely take a quick bus ride from Kuala Lumpur down to Singapore and check that out as well. That was a pretty crazy city. So
yeah,
that's what I would say. I don't know. Yeah, what's up?
No, I got a question about the history of Malaysia because as everyone knows, it was quite a while. It was over 5 years ago, but there was a flight there that didn't go well, or it just like disappeared. Do you know whatever happened to that? If they ever got to the bottom of it, because I'm sure you like flying into Malaysia and stuff like that. That's got to be in the back of your mind on whether you're going to show up at an airport or show up in a second world that we don't know about. But I'm just curious whatever came of that. I never heard.
How many years ago did you say that was?
He said
like
5.
over 5, maybe around 10.
I do recall that, but I can't remember how long ago it was. Because if it was 5 years ago, that was roughly when I was there. So
yeah, that's what I was wondering if there's like a...
Maybe I just dodged it. No, I never...
stigma around air travel or something.
I never heard what came from that. And I think it was a Malaysian Air. Like that was the airline.
Mm-hmm.
I'm safe to say I avoided that airline, so I think was good reason for that.
Just a fluke flight that disappeared.
Yeah.
What's your favorite memory from when you were in Malaysia?
My favorite memory, so I would probably say there's an island up near the border of Thailand, so in the north. It's called Langkawi. And this, I actually went there by myself. So I was normally with people, groups of people in Malaysia, but I decided I needed a bit of a break just for some alone time. So I went to it's not really luxury, but it's kind of a higher end resort in the north there, and just kind of did some beaching and chilling for a bit, which was awesome. That would be near the top. Um, or also when I went to Borneo, which is the second half, the kind of on the of Malaysia. And I went to national park there and was like right up close and personal with the monkeys, so that was pretty cool as
That
well.
is cool. Do you know what like their national sport would be?
No, I have no idea.
Like, yeah, I just
reading
always
something on
assume
that.
soccer.
So
Soccer's popular everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's never a bad guess.
I actually do have something on the national sport.
Oh,
So it is called sepak takraw. It is a sport in which players must kick the takraw, which is a hollow ball, over a net. It is similar to volleyball or badminton, except players cannot use their hands.
okay.
Oh, it's
Sepka takraw.
I've definitely seen that. I have definitely seen that when I was over there. I couldn't remember if that was specifically in Malaysia or one of the other countries I visited. But no, I definitely did too. It's literally volleyball, but only with your feet.
So you're still hitting it over a net? Like it's just like a volleyball court, but with feet.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah,
Sounds fun.
That
sounds way harder.
Yeah.
Oh, and they made it look so easy. So they were allowed. I think you're allowed to use your feet and your head. So there was a lot of people using their head.
I've definitely
I think I've seen that on like
that.
Instagram and stuff.
For sure.
Yeah.
You'd be horrible at that, Matt.
What?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
You're very uncoordinated with your feet.
So based on
Depends who
that,
you
Brady,
ask.
based on that, I think they would also be good at soccer. So.
Yeah. All right. I got it. Well, Josh, we'll spin the globe quick and see where we're going for next week. Thanks for doing this again, though.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay. Matt just spun the globe.
The globe is broken. I'm just gonna throw it to you, and you put a random figure somewhere on there.
Back.
Okay, we are going
Absolute
to
chaos in here, reporter Josh.
We're going to France this week.
We're going to France.
We're going to France.
All right,
let us know if you find any globes on the market too.
Yeah, anybody listening, we're in the market for a new globe.
We'll have to pick a new one up in Malaysia before we jump on the plane to France.
True. We'll grab a globe in Malaysia, and then we'll get our French on, and we'll head over to France. We'll talk to you.
That's one of the countries I've been as well.
Perfect.
Oh, perfect. I'm looking forward to France.
Yeah. And we'll talk longer next week, field reporter Josh. But we're getting some calls, and unfortunately, we have to talk about the Leafs.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. See you guys.
Talk to you later. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. All right.
Wow. France, dude.
Yeah. France. We're heading to France. I'm gonna call back our first caller we got about 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And we'll see what he has to say. But yeah.
So we're diving right into
whatever the callers want. Whatever they want to.
The phone lines are open.
The phone lines are open. Who do we have here?
Hey, how's it going? You just got 4 former junior jacks in the room.
We got. There's multiple people on the line.
You got the top 4 point getters. You got Luke Timmons, Peter Holmes, Coley Switzer, and Alex Kaufman.
Okay, that's a good crew.
Yeah. Starting goalie. Yeah, starting goalie too.
Starting goalie. Timmy, what do you got for us today?
So yeah, we're talking Leafs. Is that what you guys are doing?
Whatever
you need to get off your chest.
Yeah, I got a lot to get off my chest. So I want to start with initial reaction from the game 7.
Mm-hmm.
I sat on the couch and watched TikTok for about 20 minutes and just kept yelling, "Trade everybody!"
Who would you start with?
Yeah, not much has changed since then. I think you start with trading Austin Matthews. Get maximum first round pick. Trade everyone but Camp.
He's good at face-offs.
Holy.
Yeah, he's good at face-offs and.
Have another, Timmy. What are you?
And Chump Talk puts a story out on Instagram yelling Camp.
Yeah, true.
So stuff like that, I miss that. No, but actually though, I kind of want them to trade John Tavares if they can, but.
What are you looking for return for Tavares?
Nothing.
I don't know, Patrick Kane.
I guess big contract.
Yeah, I don't know if it works quite that easy, but.
No, honestly, I don't care. I'm team something needs to change, but maybe don't say something stupid.
Okay.
Because like I don't know, I was seeing on social media like the GM and coach was saying like we don't want to change anything just for the sake of changing it, which I agree with for sure. Because I mean like they do have a good team. Everyone knows they have a good team, and they just got a ghost of the first round.
Definitely.
Was the loss this year any different for you in like the last 4 years, like in those Boston, Montreal, Columbus, Washington, I think as well, were all part of those. Well, now it's a 5 streak, 5 years in a row, the first round. Was this year any different than any of those years? Because arguably some of them were massive screw ups by the Leafs. So
I'm sick and tired of the excuse every year that something's always different. Like every series is different. They're all the same. They can't win a series. So like you can say like, oh, COVID year, oh, like Boston, like whatever. Like I don't know. There's always some excuse like, oh, John Tavares was hurt. Like I'm just sick of it.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel any different when they lose. Like you can say like I don't want to hear people saying, oh, they played back-to-back cup champs. Like
I know
they were gonna have to play them at some point, and they had cup aspirations this year.
There's nothing more frustrating for me watching the game on Saturday night than the amount of times the announcer said, "Oh, the former or the 2-time cup champs or the back-to-back." Like the amount of times that was said during that game, I was ready to lose it.
I know, but like
I did lose it.
But Tampa deserves that. Like if like think about if the Leafs are in that position, I'd want them getting beefed up too. That's what they are. They say the Stanley Cup is one of the hardest things to win in all of sports. If you win that cup, especially twice in a row, you should be getting your tires pumped every day until you're no longer that back.
No one talks
defending Stanley Cup champ.
No one talks about the Junior Jacks winning international silver stick.
Is your Stamkos jersey coming in soon, Matt? Or is it still in the mail?
Oh yeah.
You know what
I was packing up stuff the other day. I actually found that I got a Nikita Kucherov jersey.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, well.
What'd you say though, Brady?
I said no one's talking about the Junior Jacks winning international silver stick in 2020 or 2019 maybe.
Exactly. No, people got to move on, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the Leafs just needed some real bad coaching by Matt Poole.
Okay, this is gonna get hostile. We gotta let you go, Timmy.
Timmy. Timmy, quickly, who's your NBA champ and who's your NHL champ right now?
I'll start with NHL because I don't know as much. I'm gonna go Carolina Hurricanes. Go off the board a bit.
Okay.
Wouldn't hate it.
Yeah, everyone just keeps saying Colorado because they're disgusting.
Yeah.
I kind of like Carolina. I think they're kind of built for the playoffs. And NBA.
That was a hot take.
I think it's gonna be Golden State, but
yeah, that's where I would place my bet too.
Yeah, I want it for the Heat. I think the Heat can do it. And no, I'll say the Heat because I want Kyle Lowry to win another one.
All right, go Lowry, Kalo. All right, thanks for the call, Timmy.
All right, see you guys.
Peace.
See ya. Wow.
Okay, got to call back another call we had during that one.
Do we have an idea on this one?
Yeah, it's not a Leaf fan, so this is going to be interesting.
Really?
Yeah, he's either going to chirp the Leafs, but his team also just got put out in the first round. The Footh Daddy.
No way.
Further.
Chump boys, how's it going?
Eric. Oh baby.
Thanks for the call. I guess there's other than Leaf fans, you can relate with us in a first round loss.
Yeah, not gonna lie, boys. I'm trying to stay optimistic about watching the second round, but it hurts not seeing the Pens and it hurts not seeing the Leafs.
Dude, I can't. I was telling Matt before this, I want to be able to watch like the Battle of Alberta and a couple of the other series. Like Tampa, Florida. I'm interested in too. I just can't do it right now.
Yeah, I'm currently watching. Well, I just watched the first period of Battle of Florida, and
who's winning?
It's 1-0 Cats. Duclair scored off a sweet feed from Huberdeau,
I
didn't realize. Announcer just said Duclair was he was a healthy scratch in Game 6.
Was he really?
Really?
Coach didn't like what he saw from him, but yeah, that seems like a ballsy play to do to a guy who put 31 tucks in the regular season.
Yeah, that is a bold move, but I guess it worked if he's scoring this game.
Yeah, man.
Also, I just had to mention, part of the reason why I called in was the sweet shot, the fadeaway that Brady hit on the Insta story.
Yeah.
Love that.
Nothing but air, baby.
We'll have you in studio sometime. We'll play a game of 21.
Absolutely. Yeah, honestly, try not to be a big excuse guy when it comes to the teams, but I honestly think that Leafs and Pens both kind of got screwed over by the refs.
Honestly,
it's been terrible refing this first round of the playoffs, but you can't give that 5-on-3 to Tampa. You're asking for them to tie it up. Whether I don't know whether the markets are just bigger in the U.S. and they make more money off U.S. teams winning or certain teams.
Yeah,
it's just blatant terrible call. Like obviously
that one was bad, and honestly, like in real time, Justin Hall's interference on the goal that didn't count for Tavares. In real time, I was like okay with it. Maybe
I hate that they kept calling it a pick.
Yeah,
like whatever, call it what you want.
It's not basketball.
Just call it interference if you're going to call it something. Don't call it a pick. That shit happens like every shift.
Guys are moving so fast they just run into each other.
Don't act like it was. Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't like the way it was worded.
But how do you call that and then you don't call when I don't even know who it was,
Nylander
Jersey or someone else on the Kings absolutely blows over McDavid at center ice.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, I know it's different games.
Yeah.
But it's just what they're calling, what they're not calling in some games is stupid.
I know, and I don't remember any other playoff being like that. Like it just feels like every year, like the refs completely put their whistles away at just playoff hockey, and I feel like the officiating is never even like a topic of conversation because
in playoffs
it doesn't need to be. Yeah, like it's just not. Like the refs do their job, like as long as there's like whatever, like penalties happen but whatever, like as long as it's not like directly like interfering, like scoring chance or just like a big moment in the game.
Or if it's
why are you calling
if it's a blatant call, you call it, which no one's gonna be mad
at. Blatant call you have to, but there's just like a certain level of like roughness, toughness that you kind of let go in the playoffs. It's playoff hockey,
and I think. I think
it's not happening anymore.
No,
it's
not
happening in certain situations, and then they're letting teams. Seems like calls are going in favor of teams that are down to get them to tie up a game.
Yeah.
But then the minute a game gets to overtime, like whistles are just they're non-existent.
Are you hinting at the NHL rigged?
A little bit.
It's I've always been very, very against when people like it mostly has happened in the NFL. I haven't really heard it much for the NHL until this year. But I mean, you can't like most of the points that people are saying, you can't really argue it. I still don't think it is because there's the amount of people that would have to go through to actually get it like that is like there's going to be somebody putting their foot down. But I mean, it's hard. It's hard to argue when you see some of them.
I agree. No, I obviously number one pod that I listen to is you boys, but when you guys don't have a new episode for me out, I tune into Spit and Chicklets every once in a while, and Biz was like, I actually listened to the newest episode today.
Yeah,
Biz was losing his mind over some of the calls in the Pens Rangers series, like Lafreniere tossing off Pettersson's bucket, and then Pettersson having to go to the bench because of that helmet rule.
Yeah,
that cost the Pens goal, and the other one, the Rodriguez retaliation on Lindgren. He hits him from behind, and then Lindgren plays the puck, and Erod gives him a little bit of a push, and it looks like it's retaliation, but he touched the puck again.
Yeah.
And Biz was losing his mind.
That's good.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, try to get fired up for the Battle of Florida. I think the Battle of Edmonton, just because it's two Canadian teams, that'll be one fun to watch. But I don't know if others can really do much with Leon on one leg.
Yeah, we'll let you go on this. Do you have any bets out tonight you'd want to share?
I do. I ran it by Maddie, and he
approved.
He approved.
Hit it as well.
Oh,
I'm on Cat's puck line. I think that Tampa's honestly a little banged up and tired after that hard-fought series with the Leafs.
Mm-hmm.
I think no Braden Point is going to be tough. I don't necessarily know if they lose the series because I feel like Tampa's that team that after a game or two they get their legs under them and Vasi can just do Vasi things. But I think tonight the Cats take it, hopefully by 2, and I steered clear of the Avs Blues because the line was too big on Colorado.
Yeah, I have no clue what to expect there.
I know.
And they've just had too many days off that I feel like they could. I think they win the series, but they could maybe have a slow start and the Blues could steal one from them. But I could also see Makar and McKinnon both putting up 4 points tonight and just doing what they do.
Yeah. One more here for you, Eric. You're a diehard Pens fan. There's a lot of uncertainty about the future there and who will be back and who won't be back. The big three, Crosby, Malkin, Letang. What are your personal thoughts just on regards to what their career has been like together and Do you think we see those three guys back in the same uniform next year, or do you think that's kind of an end of an era in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I've been spoiled to see 3 Stanley Cups, but it's been a lot of first round exits ever since that back to back. And I some positive news today is Crosby said he wants to play for at least 3 more years. So
that's really, he said 3 more years.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh, I love that.
He said a minimum 3 more. Malkin actually said the same in his like sign off, like their media day or whatever before they go off for the summer. And Letang's actually, I think Letang's saying this maybe to try to get a little bit more money out of wherever he goes.
Mm-hmm.
But Letang's saying he thinks he's got about 5 good years left in him.
Wow.
But I guess right off the bat they offered Letang and Malkin both 3 years at $5 million, and both of them obviously just said no right away.
That's not how you start off a negotiation
with your guys too.
I guess it actually pissed off Crosby too. So I think if they got a chance of keeping anyone, they can keep Malkin just because Malkin's sheer love for Crosby.
Yeah.
But I don't see Letang sticking around. He said he's enjoyed his time in Pittsburgh, but he said he's got to do what's best for his family and go where the money is. So
that's what.
And I also don't know if we keep Brian Rust. So it's been good, but once you lose those big names, it's tough because you'll still have Crosby and Gensel, but you almost want to potentially start a rebuild. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see, but.
Yep.
Man.
Yeah.
All right, Fud. Well, thanks for the call.
Yeah.
And thanks for being one of the loyal listeners too. We appreciate it.
Hey, always. No, I figured right when the last slide said call in, and if we don't like it, we'll just hang up right away. And right when I got to hang up, I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, you're good.
appreciate the call back, boys.
All right.
Hey, thanks for coming on.
We'll talk to you later, Fud.
Hey, say hi to Kenny for me. See you,
We'll
boys.
do.
Yeah.
Bye. Look at that, Kenny. We told you have fans.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kenny, before
I love trains. Oh man, sorry, what were you saying?
Well, I just want to talk to Kenny here. It's been a couple weeks since we got to have him in studio. A little 2-week vacation after just starting a job. It is what it is.
Well, it was a train convention.
Yeah, true.
I was busy. What?
Where was the convention?
Oh, across the pond.
Across the pond.
Yeah.
That's a bit of distance.
For sure.
We've been out and about too.
Yeah, we've been all over. Do you want to come with us to one of these countries at some point?
Traveling with you seems like a horrible idea.
For sure. For sure. We don't know much. I think. Well, we'll see. If any more calls come in. We'll take 1 or 2, maybe more.
Yeah.
But I do have this. I'm going to start this, and then we'll get back to it after a call if another one comes in.
Okay.
But I have 5 Leaf solutions that I thought of, and I put pros and cons to all of them. And I'm not gonna try to be biased towards what I actually think.
Yeah, you're just gonna say what you have written down.
I'm gonna say what I have written, and then I'm gonna let Kenny and Poolsy. I'm gonna let you guys kind of choose, and then add in if I miss some stuff too.
Okay.
So I'll start with number 1 here, and this is the. Well, I just won't say anything more.
Yeah.
Number 1 is sell everyone, full overhaul. So the pros to that is new people to blame when things don't go right. New core that could hopefully make it through the first round once the core gets there. Great draft picks and young talent, because you for sure have that. If you sold everyone, you'd have great young talent and great draft picks, a lot of them.
Right.
Cons though, possibility of losing Matthews, Marner, Nylander, or Tavares, and
yeah.
and a con, if you sell everyone, you're probably not going to make the playoffs for a couple of years.
No, another con too. Like if you sell these players, let's say you send Matthews to or whatever team. Let's just say it's a mediocre team. Let's say he goes to Nashville, right?
Arizona.
Yeah, or whatever. But like, whatever team these star players go to, the odds of them sucking are going to be pretty low. Like you could trade all 4 of those players and not even get a top 10 draft pick.
Yeah.
Because, you know, a shitty team isn't going to go after a 32-year-old Tavares or, you know.
Yep.
But, yeah, personally, you know, I like how you got the ball rolling there. I think it's a horrible idea.
Yeah. Hey,
but
it's option 1.
No, I know. I you know, you gotta say all the options.
I'll go with option 2. And this one's an idea from Elliot Freeman was kind of tossing it around. Move John Tavares to wing and find a good second line center to play with him and Willie. Pros to that, you'd have if it worked out, you'd have finally 2 actual top lines, because people say the Leafs have 2 top lines, but they haven't really since Johnny T came there. So 2 actual top lines. Another pro is Tavares is not exposed as much defensively, because he is getting a little bit slower at center. Being a centerman, you have a lot more defensive responsibility than as a centerman. So he can focus on doing that, and he can because we know another pro. He can still be the setup man we know he can be.
Yeah, Tavares has a lot of skill.
For sure.
Like oh boy.
Wow, the sound
that's like the ringer from the 1960s right there.
It is. We got Zach Barrage on the line. I know this is an angry Leaf fan.
Oh,
Bear, how's it going? Oh, I think we're one sec, my phone. Oh, just got to change something here. Can you hear us? Oh, there we go. We're in. Sorry. Yeah, we can hear you now.
My bad. You don't know how to use your own phone or what?
No, not really.
There's a lot going on upstairs right now.
Yeah, there is.
The wheels are turning.
When we put it out today, Barrage, that if there's any angry Leaf fans to call in, I knew you'd be one of them.
Oh yeah, had to. Absolutely had to.
So we'll give you the floor for a minute. What's been pissing you off the most?
I mean, everything really. I mean, like, how do you not make the playoffs this many years, or make the past the first round this many years in a row?
Yeah,
it's kind of a joke, right?
0-4.
Okay, initial reaction. Get rid of the entire team. I think that's been the reaction of probably some other people. Maybe you'll hear from them tonight. But upon thinking about it, took a deep breath.
Okay.
Talked to some of my more level-headed friends.
Okay.
Probably don't get rid of the whole team. That's probably not a good idea. Honestly, like, I'm kind of lost. I don't really know what they should do. Last year, I had all the ideas. I had it all laid out. They didn't do any of it. So good for them, because it wouldn't have worked. But it's like, maybe they get rid of Tavares for like a life contract. I don't know. Like, who the heck do you get for Tavares? But maybe you could get like a Doughty or somebody like that. But like, I don't know. Like, I don't think they can really afford to get rid of anybody. Yeah. But
I love Tavares as a player still. Like,
I do.
I love him on the Leafs.
He played pretty well, so pretty tough to just can him. Just his contract stuff, but
the
one thing that I can't figure out, and this is the only thing that I think matters in this entire series, is the power play percentage.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot understand why nobody on the panels I've been listening to are talking about power play percentage.
That's because they talk about the dumb play with 3 minutes left in the second when the Leafs got a puck deep, and they talk about the worst stuff in the intermissions.
I know. It's ridiculous. Like, who has ever won a playoff series with a 14% power play percentage?
Probably not many.
I'm guessing no one.
I don't know.
Some research to figure that out. But like, 14% is abysmal.
It just even watching it doesn't look like a well-oiled machine at all.
No.
Like, it looks like they're forcing things, and it's just like painful to watch almost.
I was ecstatic to see in Game 7 that they actually changed something and moved the guys around a little bit.
Yeah.
But like, it was just like so painful to watch. Like, I mean,
do you think
we've all coached? It's like we've coached time and time again. Something I've said is like special teams can win and lose a series
big time, and
can win and lose games, win and lose tournaments. And like, I don't understand. Like, the penalty kill was great for like most of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know how they can just not talk about power play. And the guys are all like so stunned after. It's like, why don't you just play with your power play? Like, it was a 1-goal series. They lost by 1 goal.
Yeah.
It's like
they were 1 goal against,
4 goals against, 1 goal difference, right? Like, I think they were 1 goal ahead technically, but like, they were 1 goal away. And you're talking like, that's a power play, right? They got the power play goal. They didn't have any in Game 7. I don't know if did they have any in Game 6 even?
Power play, I think wasn't Riley's at the start of the game.
It might have been.
Maybe.
I don't remember. Anyways.
So 1?
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah.
So
Bear, you said like we all have experience coaching, me, you, and Matt. Is the coaching more to blame than the players for the power play, or do you think it's Like ultimately, the
last year was all on Manny Malhotra. Yeah, he ain't the guy anymore. Like
no,
I would say partially if you're not willing to make changes, the players just do what they're told.
Yeah.
At the same time, shoot the puck.
Yeah.
And like BX was talking about it a bit. Not that I always agree with him, but
no,
he was mentioning that they looked gun shy at the end in Game 7 there, like when they pulled the goalie and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They looked gun shy. I think it's because Tampa was blocking so many shots, and I agree with that. But like, just shoot the puck. Like you have to shoot, and you have the best goal scorer in the entire league, and you're not giving him the puck to shoot.
I know.
Like he didn't get near enough shots on the power play. Put him wherever you have to put him in Tavares' spot, but do something so that he can get shots on net. I've had that before, and I've seen my coach where it's like we had one guy who scored like 30% of his goals in the power play.
Yeah.
Like give him the puck.
Yeah.
So anyway, and we could talk about the refs for 300 days probably, but like, yeah, they weren't great. It wasn't even.
Yeah.
Like, but at the same time, they still should have won regardless.
Yep.
I know.
Like the Leafs was still better for more of the series, for more of the game.
I completely agree with that.
Were better.
For sure. No doubt about that.
But they somehow didn't win.
Yep.
And so that to me is like crazy. And I hate the whole like Tampa is the back-to-back. Well, okay, since when is a team good 3 years in a row?
Yeah.
Like that's not a good excuse.
And
so,
this is for sure Tampa's the weakest roster out of the 3 years.
Yep.
Right. So it's like, what kind of excuse is that? And like, okay, so what? There's got to be a best team somewhere you have to beat. Like, if you're not it, then there's someone else who's the next best team. Like, so you have to beat everyone. So I don't know. Again, power play percentage. Like, you can talk about penalties and all that, but like, yeah, it wasn't even, and maybe they could have had more chances, but they didn't bury the ones that they had, and that's part of the issue.
Yeah.
The only other thing I'll say is like, my problem with not changing anything is that does it like hit that definition of insanity of like you doing the same thing over and over again expecting a different result?
Yeah, I know.
And that's where like
I know.
I get a little worried that like, I just run it back. It's like, I don't know.
I know.
But I've seen so many teams do that, right?
They're
like so many teams
tied.
have done that, run it back, and then they win.
Yep.
Okay.
But the only other thing,
you've said that 4 times.
Yeah, sorry. So there's a lot of things. You're the only people that'll listen to me fully because it's being recorded. You can always edit it out. I don't care. So what do you think? Guess for me, because I wouldn't know as good as you. But what do you think the average age is of the core guys in Toronto versus Tampa?
Pretty similar, I would guess.
Really?
No, because Stamkos is part of the core there, and so is Kucherov.
So is Tavares and Spezza. Like,
Spezza's not part of the core.
We're talking about the entire roster, or just the core?
No, like the top,
the top 5 guys in each team.
Players.
Yeah. I would think the Leafs would be younger.
Probably
for
like,
sure.
Right.
Yeah, 4 or 5 years younger, maybe.
In my head, I'm just assuming younger by like a good chunk.
Yeah.
And I guess my only other thought there is then that like, is that younger group, are they not mentally tough enough to get through, especially a Game 7 or a playoff series?
That's my thought. Like,
that's the thing. Like, after they lost Game 6, like, I know we were all super Leafs positive and yada yada yada, but like, let's be honest here. Like, deep down, I'm not surprised.
No.
Like, I think
no.
Like, in a way, I think I knew that was going to happen, that they're going to lose Game 7.
I had so much. Yeah. I did not know. Game 7, I was
like, after they lost Game 6, it was just like, that Game 6 hurt more than Game 7 did.
For sure. Game 6, I had so much more hope than Game 7. I said to my wife,
they're not winning Game 7.
Yeah. I know.
They were better for almost every minute of Game 6. Like, for way more minutes, they were the better team, and they didn't win somehow.
And way better in overtime, too. Like,
I hate that overtime game.
Absolute flashback from the Montreal series.
Yes,
there.
I know. Deja vu, honestly, I had watching that. Because it's like, you have so much hope, and then there's like, okay, they just got to win 1 or 2. But then all of a sudden, when they lose Game 6, it's like, you can't look at it that way anymore. It's like, damn, they got to win.
It doesn't matter.
And they never do.
The whole mental thing, I thought, I was like, nope, they're past it. Because last year we saw issues with that. You could see it in their physical attitude on the ice. And then this year, when they won that Game 5, they came back. I was like, nice, they're past it. They're not that team anymore.
Yeah.
And then in Game 7, you saw it again.
Yeah.
It's like, you're pulling a goalie and you need 1 goal. And it just looks like they had already given up.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the killer instinct thing? Because that thing has been brought up quite a bit in the last 24, 48 hours, but
it's a real thing.
But you look at it in Game 7, like I get the killer instinct thing, but I also think the Leafs played well enough to win Game 7. Like, look at who scored for Tampa.
Yeah.
Nick Paul scored his first 2 ever playoff goals. Like, it's not like Tampa's top dogs are out there killing the Leafs. Like, I don't know. Like, I thought both teams played good. Both teams deserved to win. It just unfortunately wasn't the Leafs' time. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the unfortunate part is both of Tampa's goals that game were probably just complete luck.
Yeah,
or like very lucky.
Especially
the second one was pure luck.
I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw that second goal go in.
Now, somebody said 10 years ago that guy would have been flat on his butt.
Yeah.
Because he would have been smoked, assuming he's looking down at his feet.
That's true, too.
That is true.
I don't know. Say what you will about that defensive play, but, like, whatever. I don't know. In my opinion, like, you're not going to win a Game 7 with 1 goal anyway.
No.
Like, kind of was expecting them to get 2 or more anyway. Like,
yeah, well, they'd score 2.
I hate to say it, but Vasi's stats and just important situations are ridiculous. Like, props to him, because that is almost like it's just out of this world of stats, and like when it matters, like he shows up. He's the best player on the ice in every game when it matters, and he was in Game 7.
Well, that's the thing. Like, they're even saying with like McDavid, like at some point he has to like push that team to depth in order to be considered like one of the best players ever, right? Like, he obviously is amazing. But like, you can't just get the most points every single year, but then like not show up in the playoffs. And I think that he has, he showed that like the other night in their Game 7. Like, he put the team on his back, in my opinion, and he did a number of games in that series, but you don't necessarily see that from Matthews. I think we did early in the series, but not so much late. And you see that from like I don't know. I always admired Johnny Taves for that. Yeah. Because well, he was never necessarily a huge point scorer in the season. I mean, probably was a couple of seasons. Time and time and again, you would see him, international player in the playoffs, put his team on his back, and whatever the killer instinct that you're talking about. So maybe the Leafs need a guy like that, and they don't have it. But I don't know. Are you going to trade a Matthews? Probably not. So
no. There will be interesting conversations around that next summer, because I think he's 2 years left, and he's a UFA. Like, he has the right to walk in 2 years' time from now if he wants to.
You know what I think the Leafs need to do this coming season?
What?
And we'll end on this one, Bear, because we got another call coming in.
Yeah, no problem.
I think Austin Matthews needs to take over as the captain. And that's nothing.
Ooh, I think that would be good.
I don't mind that.
Nothing really against what Tavares has done. I just think you got to give the team to Matthews.
Keep an eye on Tavares'
jersey. For sure. And let him still be a leader. Yeah. But he's also showing he's a quiet leader too.
Yeah. Change it up. Like, it's
yeah,
Matthews' team. He's the best
maybe
player
it'll
in the
force
world.
Austin to put the team on his back if he's forced to, right?
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, I trust Dubas. I trust Keith. I think they've done a good job. So
yeah,
we'll see what they do in the offseason, and I'll cheer them for them one more year.
1 more year. That's what you're giving them.
One more go at
That's
it.
right.
All right. Thanks for the call, Bear. We'll talk to you later.
Hey, see you later.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, that was a good one there.
Oh. Okay. This is the last call we'll take. It's from our boy Dylan. What's up, Leaves?
Boy.
What's up, Leaves?
Not much, fellas. How's your night been so far?
You know,
it's depressing.
At least we're not Sens fans, but
yeah.
Got it. Whatever.
What's your thought on the Leafs? Is that what you want to talk about, or do you want to talk about something else?
No, I don't know. We'll I have a couple Leaf comments, but but let me know if I'm overlapping what some others have talked about. So
okay.
Stop me in my track.
What do you got?
I don't know, a couple things. I've been hearing a lot of stuff, and these are kind of thoughts that I've kind of got from everybody and stuff that I've read and heard from people in regards to, well, you know, first we can talk about, everyone's talking about Tavares. Let's talk about Tavares for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
People are thinking that, and I kind of agree too, for the Leafs to improve, I think well, first of all, nobody's going to be able to take that contract. It's too high.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone's going to want that.
He's not going anywhere.
The Leafs are going to have to. No, exactly. So, moving him to the wing is something I've been hearing and thinking of. But then that's the thing. Who do you bring into play in the second line center role? I heard the random thing about Marner playing center. Don't know about that.
No, I've seen that too. I hate that idea. I hate leave Marner with Matthews. They finally it took a long. Babcock wasn't doing it, and then when Keefe came in, he finally moved Marner with Matthews, and then they found Bunting. You keep those three together. I think Bunting and I don't actually know. I didn't read.
Bunting has one more year at less than $1 million.
Yeah, I'm just talking. Was he was he playing hurt through playoffs? I know he missed game 1.
Yeah, I think he was. So, I don't know to what extent.
But anyways, that first line played fine. Like Bunting had a couple good plays, and I think did he have a goal or 2 maybe? I don't know. But you keep that line together. Marner cannot go into center, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And Leaps, I brought up Tavares moving to the wing. Is there anybody you have in mind that the Leafs could even had a shot at going after to replace or to bring him in to play with Tavares and Nylander?
You got to find the dollars first. That's what's so tricky.
I know, that's what's tricky. There's lots of names you can throw out there, like Cirelli, like a guy like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. But like you guys said, that's almost near impossible to find.
Yeah.
But to go off of that, I also saw something on 31 Thoughts or 32 Thoughts now, the podcast with Elliot Friedman and Jeff Merrick. Elliot was saying that he agrees in the fact that he doesn't think that the Leafs should blow anything up. Management, coaches, players in general, he doesn't believe that they should blow anything up. But with that being said, he thinks that Kyle Dubas should keep in the back of his head and think about what Masai Ujiri did with the Raptors to win them their championship. Now, the thing is, who would be that guy from the core 4 to deal for a 1-for-1 that's going to make the Leafs better? You know what I mean? What's one guy of those core 4 that, it's going to ruffle some feathers from the fans? They're going to be like, what is Dubas doing? Right? Everybody thought, what are they doing with DeMar? Come on, he's a fan favorite player. But yeah, I don't know. That's tricky though. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
For me,
Kawhi move?
I think Tavares needs to stay a Leaf for as long as he can. Right out that I don't think he's not playing up to now, but I think if there's a guy you should trade, I love William Nylander. Don't get me wrong, I love Willie. I don't want him gone, but for me, if there's one guy that you could trade out of that top 4, or whatever, those top 4 forwards, and it made sense. Yes, Willie's great. He scores in the playoffs, he scores in the regular season, but I don't know. I think you could get a better playoff player than Willie that would maybe bring a bit more intensity, maybe offer up more for a top 6.
This is new for you. This is new for you.
I know it is new. And this is the first time I said it. I love Willie. Willie's one of my favorite players on the team. But I'm just saying, maybe you can get a player that can offer you a bit of a change on a top 6 role. You have so many skilled players already. Look at Matthews and Marner and Tavares. They're both all really skilled. Willie is really skilled too, but Willie is also lacking a big component to his game as well. I think you see, I know, he has good. This
is my Willie argument, and we've talked about this too. Do you think Willie would be putting up similar numbers to Marner if Willie was playing where Marner played all year?
No, I think Marner's on a different level by far than Willie.
Oh, I don't think
to me, Marner is a top 10, 15 player in the league, including forward, defense, goalies. I think he's as the best as it gets. Willie, I don't know if Willie'd be a top 50 when you can include goalies, defense, and everything.
I agree. Marner's a better player for sure. I don't think the gap
by far.
I don't think the gap is as big as you're making it sound.
It is.
I don't think
Marner is one of the most skilled players in the league.
Leaves. What do you think about the gap?
Okay.
Think about what Willie can offer for a team versus what Marner can offer a team. To me, Willie fits more of a Phil Kessel role. You're never going to win with Willie as your best player. You're never going to win as Phil as your best player.
No, I don't like you comparing Willie to Phil.
No, I'm not. But I'm just saying there's a lot of similarities there.
Yeah.
When you think about how they play the game,
they're
very extremely both offensively minded. They're both very skilled players, top-notch players in the league. But for me, we'll just bring up the Cirelli thing. If Willie for Cirelli was ever a trade-off from the table, I'd accept that in 0.01 milliseconds.
I would accept that too.
Without even I do think you could get a player that would offer more in the top 6 than what Willie does. But that being said, I would love to see Willie back in Toronto next year. I'd love to see Willie play his entire career in Toronto.
I love Willie.
But I'm just saying, if you really are getting to the point where, hey, you got to start like maybe changing things up or whatever. For me, I'd rather see Willie go than Tavares. And I know there's an age gap there. You'd get more years out of Willie potentially, but like, let's look at what we have right now. Matthews and Marner in their prime. You need guys to win right now. You got to put a roster to win next year. You can't be thinking about 8 years down the road. You like
8 years. I'm not thinking about 8 years, but I think about Willie.
But that's what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm saying, though. There's like a 6 or 7 year age gap between Willie and Tavares. Like, you could have Willie way longer than what you could have Tavares.
Yeah.
But I don't think you should be thinking about that. You should be looking at what the players can offer your team right now.
Yeah, for sure.
That's all I'm saying.
Oh, so you're saying Leaves? We'll let you talk in a second here.
Yes.
Thanks.
Leaves, are you still there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wait. So, okay. Leaves, thoughts on that quick. I gotta collect mine for a second here.
Yeah. Okay. So back to the gap thing. Okay. Skill wise, Marner is still more skill than Nylander, but I don't think the gap is far. Like, Nylander is still an unbelievable player.
Yeah.
But the thing that sets me apart from the two, the thing that sets me apart from the two is, like, I really don't think people realize that Marner is probably one of the best penalty killers in the league.
Yeah.
He's a great two-way forward. Opinion. No one talks about that. He's a great two-way player. He plays 200 feet every shift, not even just the penalty kill, 5-on-5 as well.
Okay, this is crazy, Matt. Like, always defended Nylander with me.
No,
this is
I'm
nuts.
just saying. I feel like
this is nuts. Leaves. This is not what I was expecting here.
Well,
he is heated.
No, I'm not heated.
You're heated.
Well, I'm not heated.
You are heated.
I'm not heated.
Hey, Brady, I got it, Brady.
What?
I got an answer to that question about another centerman in the league who could like potentially fill that role.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if this player would ever be available, but like a guy like a Philip Deneau, I feel could like
guy?
be a second line center.
Yeah, that's an ugly contract though.
It is, but like
a comparable to that.
Yeah, like a player like Philip Deneau, because like look what he did like for Montreal when they took out the Leafs. Look what he did for LA like this year against Edmonton.
Mm-hmm.
Like they need a centerman like that. Not saying it's Philip Deneau, but just someone like that. Yeah. I feel that might be the thing that they need maybe.
And I think if you do that, to go back to the Nylander thing, that makes the guy like Nylander more valuable to have
if you imagine have him with a defensive forward.
Yes, but that can still produce in a way as well. No, you're not just like throwing him with a guy that only plays in his D zone, you know? You're playing with a guy that knows how to contribute on both ends of the ice. I don't know. Like trust me, I don't want the Leafs to trade Willie. Like, I'm not saying the Leafs should trade Willie.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I think you can find a guy that could play a top 6 role in the playoffs that would benefit the Leafs more than what Willie would.
Here's a name. I think he's got a few more years left at where he is at a big contract the Leafs couldn't take on, but a guy like Ryan Johansson playing center.
Yeah.
Like
I do like that.
Like a guy that has some experience, especially in the playoffs, which he does. Like Nashville's went on a couple runs, and he's been there for all of them. Was he? He was in Columbus.
No, he
first.
was in he's only been in Nashville for 3 or 4 years.
But he was on some runs with them.
Yeah.
Like, remember him and Kessler going at it?
Yeah.
That was a long ass time ago.
Yeah.
So I like a guy like that would be awesome, but you know, a guy like that would probably be a guy they pick up in their like twilight of their career, like they've been doing.
They're 37 years old.
Yeah, which I never hate that they do that. Like,
no, I don't either.
People criticize those moves, like the Spezza, the Simmons, the Clifford, the Giordano, the whoever else, Thornton. People criticize those moves, but they're such high, like low risk, high reward.
I don't think age is like should really be depicted on.
And who cares if they don't work out? You get rid of them.
Yeah.
Like, Thornton didn't work out. He's gone. There was no harm by having him.
You're paying him less than $1 million.
Yeah. and Marleau too. I should have thrown in there, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
Leaves another tough year. I don't know. Do you got anything else?
Yeah. I got one more. One more Leafs thing.
Okay.
I don't know if I sent it to you guys. I don't know if you saw it before your calls or whatever.
Didn't see it.
What's one player on the Leafs who has 2 more years on their contract that they need to start to think about?
Oh, Matthews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next summer.
Oh, I think they need
to be extending him a year from now.
They need to have it worked. I think they need to have it worked out next season. Like
they will.
Before next summer.
I hope so. If he sticks around, I'm sure they would.
Yeah. Shanahan said today, one thing I did see is they want to make Matthew a Leaf for life, which obviously he's going to say that.
Without saying, yeah.
Like the contract says, like, yeah, he has 2 years left, but like on another podcast I heard or just something where I saw, like, I don't think you want to consider that 2 years. I think you have 1 year, and then during that 1 year, you need to consider, like, hey, either you're going to re-sign or we're going to trade you. We're not letting you walk to free agency like the Islanders did to Tavares.
Yep.
Like, you can't just let a player who just got 60 goals, like, walk like that. You need to do something with that. Either re-sign him or I don't know how you'd figure out a trade that includes Austin Matthews.
I was saying,
I don't even want to ever have to discuss that.
I don't know. I don't know if I said it when Leaves on, but that's another reason. Slap the C on him at the start of next year.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing. Like people might think it doesn't mean anything, but if he's wearing the C in the biggest city in the NHL, or like the most hockey market city in the NHL, that's a guy that cares about that kind of stuff for sure.
Yeah.
He wants to be like a public like he wants to be the face of the NHL. For sure he does.
Oh, yeah.
There's guys that definitely don't care about that. Like when Jonathan Toews was winning cups, he didn't care about that. Crosby never cared about that.
No.
Matthews cares about that.
But does it, like, I'm not saying like this is how it's gonna happen, but is there not just like a little bit of a thought in your mind that, let's say the Leafs have a really disappointing first round exit again next year, that you'd be a little bit like,
I'd be terrified.
Oh my gosh, just like
he's gonna go.
I don't know if I'd stick around if I was Matthews at that point.
I wouldn't blame him. And that's the whole McDavid argument now. Like now they kind of they're going on a little run now. Hopefully, I don't know. I think Calgary will take care of them. But you got Edmonton, Kenny. All right, Kenny's in the house too, Leaves.
Hey Kenny, I gotta meet you someday, buddy.
That's gonna be tough. He barely shows up to work. He's a private guy.
You can't even see him sometimes.
Kenny, just you wait.
That's the second shout out Kenny's gotten this, and he said 2 words in the whole podcast. But that's how we like it, though. Keep him quiet.
Whatever.
Leaves, thanks for the call. Unless you had any final remarks.
Not too much. Just watching the Battle of Florida right now, and
what's the score now?
1-1.
Okay.
1-1.
All right.
So.
Yeah, a couple bets have been placed for Panthers puck line, which means they need to win by 2 or more.
Ooh,
Kenny also has that one. All right. Yeah, Leaves, thanks for calling. Congrats, because whatever you said just fired Matt up. So thank you.
You guys were talking.
I was waiting.
Wow.
I've just been waiting to talk about that all pod. And Leaves, Leaves said the right words. And
you did, Leaves. That a boy.
I said the right words.
All right, Leaves.
Good talking
have
to
a good
you,
one.
Leaves.
We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, Matt. See you at Schmitzel Saturday.
Bye. All right, there's Leaves. That concludes our calls.
I don't know if I got fired up there. I was just ready to talk. I had so much, dude. I haven't really said much about the Leafs yet this entire pod.
No,
we've been listening.
Yes, for sure.
Dude, my thoughts have just been turning.
For sure, but you got to realize, and I hear you talk like that sometimes.
I think it's bullshit if you disagree with my opinion.
Listen. You got to realize, I hear you talk like that sometimes.
Yeah.
But other people don't hear you get fired up like that.
I'm passionate about the Leafs.
Yeah, I know,
I want them to win a damn series for once.
You haven't been like that too much on the pod before. like
how often do the Leafs lose? Well,
every year.
Yeah. That was a dumb thing to say, but
okay, dude.
Kenny is scared.
See?
You're so fired up.
I looked at Kenny once. When you were looking at me, and he was like, is everything good?
Yeah, if you ever see my fist just like clenching a little bit, just have an eye.
Yeah.
Have an eye. But no, do you not see my point? Like, I love Willie. Like, we talked about a guy like Jonathan Toews, for example, like not necessarily a great regular season production guy. Like, he always has been good, but never great. Like, never like 100-point season. But like, I feel like Willie can offer way more in the playoffs. Like, look at what Matthews did. He was averaging 0.7 hits a game in the regular season. He was averaging high 4s or low 5s or whatever in the playoffs. Like, what changed in Willie's game when it came to the playoffs? Absolutely nothing.
I disagree with that.
Okay. If he averaged one more body check a game, what do you do?
I'm not talking about body checks.
I don't think Willie...
give me a sec here.
Yeah, okay.
Would I want Willie to throw some hits more in the playoffs? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But do I think he picked up his game in the playoffs? I also do. There's a couple plays, and I won't be able to remember the exact plays, but he just
I'm not saying he played bad. Just for the record.
Okay. Well, I just feel like I got to stick up for him, and you were used to be the guy I could stick up for.
I just think you can
with.
have a more playoff like.
Dude, I think
look
he was
what
their best forward.
Sorelli probably had like 60 points in the regular season.
I think Willie Nylander was their best player in at least 2 of the 7 games. Their best forward.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah.
Doesn't that mean anything to you?
Yeah, but what did he do in Game 7? Like,
what did anybody do in Game 7?
I'm just saying, like, I think you can add more character guys.
Oh, I think you can too. But
I'm not saying the Leafs should trade Willie, but I'm just saying, like, let's say a guy like to me, Sorelli is kind of like a young Jonathan Taves in a way.
Like I agreed with you when you said Nylander for Sorelli. I'd also take that.
Yeah. Okay.
But, let me chime in here.
Kenny.
I was actually disagreeing with Matt when he said he didn't get any better. I looked up the stats. He was exactly 1 point per game in the playoffs and the season.
So same.
Just a thought there.
Yeah. And again, like I love Willie. Like he had a great regular season.
He finished
exactly
what he's
capable of.
Point per game in season 2. Well.
Yeah, like again, a great player. But I'm just saying, like, let's say Dubas and Shanahan are like, okay, we got it. We like something's got to change. Like I don't think they will. But let's say something's got to change. I would rather see Nylander move than Tavares. Because I think that puts him in a better spot to win now.
I didn't disagree with you until maybe that last part. I don't disagree with you because, to start, if you're going to trade one of those 4, Matthews and Marner untouchable.
Yeah.
So Tavares, you're going to get more for Nylander than you would Tavares.
Yeah.
And that's why I would say that. Do I think Tavares is more useful to the Leafs right now? I don't know if I would.
In the playoffs, I think he is. I'd rather have a guy like Tavares every day.
Yeah.
Every day in the playoffs, I would take Tavares every day.
I disagree.
Over Willie.
I disagree.
I disagree. Yeah, that's fine. But
we can agree to disagree on this one.
Think
it's
I'm just
going
like
to be a
little more like old school in that way. Like I don't know. Like I love the skilled players, but
I'm old school too. I like the mucking and grinding.
Playoffs ain't just about dangling and ripping snipes like the regular season is.
For sure. And I agree with that. But there were also Willie did. Just because there's no hits on the actual like stat sheet.
I'm not saying hits or anything. I was just
Willie. I know that was one of your points, but Willie he got in there a little more than you're used to seeing.
He also completely avoided body contact several times as well.
A couple times.
If you really watch, don't just count the videos that you've seen on Twitter because obviously everyone's gonna chime about those. But if you really watched Willie, like he could be doing a lot more on a lot of pucks.
For sure,
a lot of pucks.
I agree. I guess
Tavares doesn't let the foot off the gas.
No, but also Willie has a lot more gas to give when there's an offensive.
That's fair as well.
And
for sure, Nylander has more stamina.
It's tough because you're comparing speed. You're comparing skill and effort.
Yeah,
like Tavares has way more effort.
For sure. I just think Tavares, like I don't know. I just think Tavares is such a good leader, a good player. Just like I just think Tavares will. You get the right guys around guys like Tavares, Matthews, Marner. Like for me, that is like your
here's the
3
other thing
forwards that you need to build around.
If we're
Tavares isn't washed up, no matter what people say.
I would never say that,
dude.
Yes, I know they do.
Like,
I
people
disagree.
say that.
I disagree. If we're gonna be harsh on Nylander, don't we need to say something about Tavares though?
Okay, I don't want to be harsh on Nylander though.
Okay, but you were being though.
No. All I was saying, if you're trading one of your top 4 forwards. Yeah, I'd rather see Willie traded over Tavares. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, that's fair. And I'm saying,
not trying to rip on
Tavares
Willie.
over. Okay, but I'll just say a counterpoint to if there are people that are being harsh on Willie. I'm not saying you. There are people out there being harsh on Willie. A counterpoint to be maybe harsh on Tavares because a lot of the people that are harsh on Willie stand up for Tavares and vice versa. Kind of what we're doing right now. John Tavares when he was with the Islanders. You always saw these no-name guys just light up the score sheet for the years they were playing with him, like a Matt Molson, like a Kyle Okposo. Who was another name? Like just weird.
P.A.
Parento, another one. Just weird names, just lighting it up. That was a great pull by you, ex-Leaf too. But has he really been able to elevate too many people? Like I
agree with that. I really do.
I was so pumped when he came, and I'm still so pumped to have him. But he just hasn't really been able to elevate a guy. Like
but he's still low key been around a point per game player himself
for sure
every season.
Yeah, I just want him to
but
elevate
it's weird,
other people.
Because I agree, because like guys like Molson, Parento, like they were okay players before, but you know they played with Johnny T, and those guys had career years.
And they never had as much success after playing with Johnny T.
No, all their careers went downhill after that.
Yeah, so.
That's an interesting point, Brady, about elevating other players, because does anybody on the Leafs elevate the people around them? Like, if you look at, like, a Crosby or McDavid or some of those
Martin
guys.
and Matthews, I think, elevate each other.
Okay, but that doesn't really count. Like, they're supposed to be... They don't really elevate a Bunting, do they? Like, not to the level that some of those other guys I just named do.
Yeah, I think they do elevate Bunting's not putting up the numbers he had this year with anybody else. So stats-wise, they definitely elevated him this year. Like,
whoever played on the line was going to have inflated stats.
Yeah, but then...
Sure, but I guess I'm saying, like, who was it that that basically made Team Canada because he played with Crosby?
Like, Marchand and Bergeron?
No. Oh, yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
The French guy.
Yes.
Kunitz. No.
Oh, it was Kunitz. Yeah, it was Kunitz, and he, doesn't really have any business being on that team, but he literally played with Crosby. That's like, who does that on the Leafs?
Yeah. You're right. You're right. Maybe Bunting would be the answer there. Like, Matthews and Marner to Bunting maybe would be the answer, but other than that, okay, this is killing me. Who's the guy that played with Sid and Kunitz? He was a French guy. He was in Pittsburgh. He wore a weird helmet with
Dupuis.
Dupuis, thank you.
Pascal,
Pascal Dupuis. Thank you. That was gonna bug me because that's who I was thinking. But you're right. It was Chris Letang.
But Dupuis was a very same thing as Kunitz.
Chris Kunitz, not Letang.
Yeah.
Sorry. Kunitz. Good catch, Ken. What are you laughing at? You didn't catch it. You just calm down over there. Okay. We're gonna get through.
I just got my first air bump with Kenny.
That's huge. I haven't got one yet. Okay, I'm gonna give my. Let me just go through the 5 quick.
Right,
I'll finish this. I'll finish this off, and then we'll finish the pod. So we just need to regroup going into next week.
Yeah, there's a lot of just like energy right now, like just like a lot of like built up frustration and.
Definitely. Okay, I'm just going to go through this quick. Number 3, hire new assistant coaches. This goes back a lot to what we talked about with Zach when he called in, actually, is they keep trying new assistant coaches to help the power play. I think you almost got to just try again with assistant coaches.
I agree.
So that's a pro. Just keep trying that and change the power play. Cons is same old. People might get pissed off, and you never know. The other thing with a con to firing assistant coaches, you never know what Leafs have personal relationships.
That's a big part of it.
So So based on that would be a con for that. So that's number 3. Number 4.
Can I add a stat into that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know exactly how far this dates back, but something about the Leafs core.
Okay.
I'm not sure how far back, but their power play is 0 for 18 in games where they could win a series.
Jeez.
That's not a good number.
So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what the coaching history is behind there, but
oof.
Yeah.
Number 4. This is a weird one I kind of thought of, but it's something we haven't got to in this podcast that we definitely need to.
That seems unlikely.
What?
We just talked about so many different things.
There's one thing we did not get to, and it's a very pressing thing. Jack Campbell is probably not back.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, well, we'll see.
Mrazek's got to be out the door.
Quick, let me just.
Yep, sorry.
So something that the Leafs could change is and it's a thought I had. If Campbell's gone, get a veteran goaltending duo. The pros to that would be they're cheaper, and you have some more money to sign some other people. There's new faces in the room, and they have the playoff experience. Cons, you lose Jack Campbell, and you risk injury or poor play from these veterans. So we'll if you guys hate that point, we'll talk about it in a sec. Let me get to 5. 5 is just stay put. Pros, obviously some small things are going to change with the crew, but you just ride it back with the crew. That would be a pro to that, or that would be a con, maybe. I don't know. And then like I honestly don't know at this point. And then a con if they keep it how they are and whoever they sign, but no matter what, they're going to be right up against the cap this year. And I hate talking about the cap, but it's just inevitable that they're going to be doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to Jack Campbell.
Yeah.
What
just real quick.
Yeah.
I'm just going to make, because I know we're going long here, but okay, first of all, the veteran goaltending thing, like the Mike Smith Koskinen thing, I think is the worst idea you can do.
That's not what I was.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I think you need to get a guy. You got to get him built in with that core. You got to get him going with the boys. Like,
get a guy?
Or, okay, well, like, keep going with a guy.
Okay,
or,
so
like, Yeah, preferably Jack Campbell.
Yeah.
Like I think you got to move Mrazek's contract. He's making over $3 million per year.
Yeah, call
you
up
have
Arizona.
to trade that. Yeah,
they do that all the time.
Or like, and I don't think this guy would be available, but for me, just like a really good goaltender, but maybe just like not in the right place right now, like not on a team that's necessarily a great team.
Like an older guy to be backup,
or just like to me, like a John Gibson. I think is capable of being one of the best goalies in the league, but he doesn't get recognition for it.
I think he is one of the best goalies.
He's played on one of the worst teams the last 5 years now.
Yeah.
Anaheim, but like I don't know if he'd be available because I think Anaheim's kind of coming out of the rebuild.
Yeah.
So they're probably going to want to keep him. But to me, just like a guy like that.
For sure.
But then again, you got to trade assets to get a guy like that.
And
but
they can't afford him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you never know.
How much is he making?
I don't think his contract is crazy. It might be, I think it's in the 6s.
Kenny, do you mind looking that up while we keep talking? John Gibson contract. But contract,
yeah. But ideally, Jack Campbell. I think Campbell needs to be back.
I agree.
I think he deserves to be. I think he wants to be a winner in Toronto.
Okay, so I did the veteran goalie thing. That was one of my points. I disagree with it. I just wanted to get another point in there.
Yeah.
8-year, $51 million on August 2018.
Oh, so he's got years left.
That's fine though.
Yeah.
51 divided by 8.
Yeah, what's that?
6.375. So like very affordable for what could be a top 10 goalie.
For sure.
If not top 5 at times in the league.
I think he is a top 10 for sure.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Okay, so let's say most likely scenario. Is it most likely though? I don't know if they're going to be able to sign Jack Campbell.
They should be able to.
Depends how much he wants. But he can ask for a bunch. He was an all-star this year.
I don't think anyone would offer him over 6.
You don't think?
What could I don't know. I don't
Bobrovsky got 10.
I know, but no one would want. You'd have to trade several first rounders with Bobrovsky to get rid of him.
Yes.
Why are we talking about getting rid of Jack Campbell?
I don't think we're talking about. I'm not talking about getting rid of him. I don't want.
No, we're just talking about whether like
I'm asking.
He can be back, or
is there a possibility that they won't be able to re-sign him depending on how much he asks?
I think that guy is one of the best goalies in the NHL.
I agree. Which is why
Vasilevsky is considered probably the best goalie
for sure.
Carey Price last year was or could still be if he's playing.
Yep.
He was better than Price last year, and he was almost identical to the stats of Vaz this year. Same save percentage.
Yeah, and made some huge saves in some of those games. Some massive saves.
What more do you need? What more can you get?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I want Campbell.
We were just thinking, like, if he's asking, like, let's say Campbell's, like...
Asking for 8.
I'm playing for me.
Yeah, okay.
I want to make $7-8 million a year.
Because he's a free agent.
Yeah, he's a UFA.
So
like that is worrisome, and I do agree with that.
Campbell could... How old is he? High 20s?
He's 28, 29,
okay,
I think.
But how long have the Leafs waited for this?
For sure.
For this level of a goalie?
Oh, yeah. I think they
you pay him whatever you have to.
But they can't.
Yeah.
You get rid of whatever you have to.
Maybe. Yeah.
Like, he's more valuable than basically everyone except your top 3.
Yeah. Top 3 has in who?
Like Marner, Matthews,
Riley.
Yeah, probably.
Yes. Riley also, Riley does not get the recognition he deserves for the playoffs.
Top 10D in the league, guaranteed, no question
cornerstone of the Leafs. Love Riley. Huge goal, 2000. Oh my gosh.
Oh man,
I'm so happy. Oh, quick story about Game 7 and had to stop myself for a second there. Quick story about Game 7. I was watching in Elmira, and the power went out. Where were you watching from?
Kitchener.
Did any power go out at all on Saturday night?
Nope.
Okay, so I was watching from Elmira, and I think like half the town the power went out, and there was 15 minutes of real time. So I don't know how much game time. 15 minutes of real time during the first period. We couldn't refresh our phones. We like power out and no service. There was like a windstorm.
You're just in a black hole.
Yes, we had no idea what was going on.
Jeez.
So Noah Reitzel, who you know, showed up to Tim's house where we were at.
Yeah.
In his he's got a huge like van, those white vans. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
It's like a work van, but he's got nothing in the back seat.
Yeah.
Pissing rain. He comes up in the driveway. We all run out. We're sitting in the back of the van listening on the radio. It was electric. I loved every second of it. The Leafs, I wanted them to score in that moment so bad because I was listening to Joe Bowen.
Yeah.
And the people, so I was watching with some people that have not really had much experience with like watching a playoff game or don't know who Joe Bowen was, which people that don't know who Joe Bowen is, I think that's just disrespectful.
Frauds.
Because he is a Leaf legend. I hope he goes up in the rafters when he's done because he's the best. But you know how like Joe Bowen, he's a very dramatic guy. There was a shot the Leafs had, and he always goes like, and a shot towards the goal, like he's like, and a shot towards the goal, and but it didn't go in. Mackerel. And frickin' Jill was one of them. I gotta call Jill out. Jill was one of them. I was listening closely, and it was a little staticky, so you couldn't hear everything perfectly.
Yeah.
Jill was one of the 3 people in the van that was like, yes, and started cheering, and I just like was so angry because I knew it didn't go in.
Mm-hmm.
But if Evan's listening, he's gonna call me out for that because he's like, there's no way you didn't think that was in. He said goal. I'm like, I was listening. It said towards the goal, like the net.
Yeah.
So whatever. I got a little fired up there, but yeah.
We record that argument between you two. That would be fun.
Me and Evan. Yeah, probably could. Evan, he gets too ruthless in arguments, so he just hurts my feelings every time. Yeah, but
you got thin skin.
I definitely do. I'm way too emotional. That's just why I almost cried after the Leaf game. It didn't actually, but if I looked at the TV long enough and stayed with my thoughts, I would have shed a tear.
I couldn't go on social media after the game.
No, hell no.
I couldn't.
No, dude.
I was so like yes. I was like ready to throw my phone through the wall. Throw my head through the wall.
I'm active on Twitter on the burner. I still don't really go on it now. I
still go on, but like it's my presence has diminished because there's still Leaf stats out there.
I know.
Like get rid of that shit.
I know. Get it off my timeline.
I'm so sick and tired of seeing that crap. Okay.
Man. How long did we go, Kenny?
We got over an hour at this point.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Take us home, Kenny. Give us some music and.
You done?
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah. Wow.
Another year. As this music's going.
Another year.
As this music's going though. First year we ever recorded. Do you remember recording after Game 7 loss? Yeah. It was first year we ever started recording. It was at Tim's house somewhere in Boston. Then Columbus we recorded right after. Then Montreal we recorded right after. Tampa Bay, here we are.
2023.
Our year, baby.